Grand Rising family, just another beautiful day, giving thanks and praise to God, wherever you might conceive him or her to be. For me, I just love folks. Listen, I'm gonna put a clip here about Burkina Faso, my boy Traoré, the youngest president in Africa, 37 years old. I don't give a shit about people. And the reason why the US put a ban on him traveling there, saying that it's got kidnapping and it's killing and all sorts of terrorists going on in Burkina Faso, because the guy don't take shit from nobody. He realized that people used to come before and take out all the mirrors of the country and don't put nothing back into it. So he stopped it. He get rid of France, get rid of England, he get rid of all those folks that come in there and taking stuff out of the country and not putting nothing back into the country. My boy is called Traoré from Burkina Faso in Africa. And the US gets to put a travel ban on the country. Why? Because they can't dictate him. They can't control him. He just don't take shit from nobody. Anyway, folks, check this clip out and always be aware. Don't believe what I'm saying. Just think for yourself and be knowledgeable and informed, because the US think they can bully everybody. The US just think they can bully everybody, and if you don't go along with them, they want to get rid of you. But anyway, folks, have a good day. Be loving and kind and considerate and peace and caring and loving, and always know who you are. Don't let them tell you less than who you think you are. Hang on, folks.
Has just issued a chilling warning. Burkina Faso is too dangerous to visit. Attacks could strike anywhere. Hotels, schools, even places of worship. But why now? Insurgency isn't new here. So what suddenly made the West panic? Is it really about danger, or is
no, it's about this guy here. Don't
Let's
give a
find
shit.
out. The U.S. State Department recently updated its travel advisory for Burkina Faso, placing the country under a level 4 do not travel warning, the highest level of caution issued by the U.S. government. According to the official statement, the threat of insurgency, crime, and kidnapping remains high throughout the country, especially in the Sahel and eastern regions.
I wonder why.
Emphasizes that attacks could happen without warning.
Yeah, right.
Targeting locations such as hotels, restaurants, police stations,
Yeah, right.
military posts, customs offices, mining sites, schools, and places of worship.
Don't fall
The
for it.
advisory notes that insurgent groups may use commercially available weapons or carry out kidnappings for ransom, and that the U.S. Embassy in Ouagadougou has limited ability to assist citizens in many parts of the country. The message urges U.S. nationals to avoid travel to Burkina Faso entirely and to reconsider any plans involving the region, citing the volatility and unpredictability of the security environment. While the warning reflects real security concerns in some areas, its tone and broad scope have raised questions, particularly among observers who note the timing and political implications of such alerts. The sudden alarm over Burkina Faso didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of loss. Not the loss of peace, the loss of influence. The U.S. isn't reacting to some new spike in violence. It's reacting to something far more threatening to its foreign policy, a government it no longer controls.
True that.
For years, Burkina Faso was caught in the perfect storm of silence and submission. Foreign troops roamed freely, extracting intelligence and enforcing policies that favored outsiders. Mining companies operated in broad daylight, draining the country's wealth with almost no resistance. In that system, insurgency was never an obstacle. It was a background problem, something to cite when foreign troops needed justification to stay, but never enough of a concern to fix. People died, villages burned, and yet there were no dramatic travel warnings then.
Exactly.
So why are they ringing the sirens now? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Because the new leadership under Captain Ibrahim Traoré doesn't play by the old rules. Since taking power, he's made it clear. Burkina Faso is not a base. It's not a colony. It's not a launch pad for foreign agendas. It's a sovereign nation. And in the eyes of those who once treated it like a strategic outpost, that is unacceptable. It's not about danger increasing. It's about access disappearing. When Traoré closed foreign military bases, expelled French troops, and began rewriting mining contracts, he didn't just disturb diplomatic ties. He disrupted a multi-billion-dollar system of quiet exploitation. That system relied on Burkina Faso staying passive, unstable, and dependent. It relied on Western governments portraying themselves as saviors in a crisis they never truly solved. Now that narrative is collapsing, and with it, their patience. That's why the warnings are louder than ever. Not because Burkina Faso has suddenly become more violent, but because it has become more independent. And make no mistake, these warnings aren't neutral. They're political tools. The State Department knows the power of a red alert. It scares investors. It discourages aid. It isolates a nation and labels its government as reckless, even when it's simply being self-reliant. It's not about keeping tourists safe. It's about making sure the world looks away. Because if people looked closer, they'd see something the West doesn't want them to see.
True that.
A country that's no longer begging, no longer broken, and no longer playing along. Now that the game has changed, the former players are flipping the board. Now, let's assume the loss of foreign protection scares them so much, then maybe the next question we should ask is, was that protection ever real to begin with?
Nope.
For years, the illusion of foreign protection in Burkina Faso was carefully maintained. Soldiers with foreign flags patrolled the streets. Diplomatic envoys held press conferences. Aid organizations set up offices across Ouagadougou. To the outside world, it looked like a partnership. But on the ground, Burkinabe citizens saw something else entirely. Checkpoints near gold mines, armored convoys near luxury hotels, and an eerie silence when villages fell to insurgents. What the US called support was never about defending the people. It was about defending their stake. And now that foreign boots are gone, the narrative is being twisted. Suddenly, the absence of those foreign troops is a crisis. Suddenly, the same governments that watched silently as insurgents torched entire towns are claiming their concern for public safety. But where was this urgency when civilians were being hunted in broad daylight under a system built by Western alliances?
True that.
It's not Burkina Faso that changed. It's who controls it that has changed. The so-called protection offered by Western forces was never universal. It had a perimeter. It stopped at the gates of embassies, corporate compounds, and airstrips. There was no shield for the farmer in the Sahel or the schoolgirl in Dori. Insurgents moved freely beyond the radius of foreign economic interest. In some cases, they moved too freely, as if allowed to create just enough chaos to justify the permanent presence of foreign troops. This carefully curated instability served a purpose. It made the country appear too fragile to stand alone, too chaotic to govern itself, and most importantly, too risky to challenge its foreign patrons. In that framework, the presence of foreign military was less about peacekeeping and more about gatekeeping, guarding contracts, assets, and reputations. But when Traoré took power, that scaffolding collapsed. He didn't just send foreign troops home, he exposed what they were protecting. With their departure, the line between propaganda and reality became clear. The country didn't fall apart without them. The very act of reclaiming control revealed how unnecessary, even parasitic partnerships had become. So now the West is scrambling to rewrite the script. They're using warnings to create doubt. But to the people living under this so-called protection, the doubt had already set in long ago. The US advisory doesn't reveal a new danger. It reveals a new reality, that Burkina Faso is finally out of reach, and that its protection is no longer outsourced to those who saw it as a project, not a people. The next time you hear about loss of stability, ask who's feeling unstable, because on the ground, something else is happening, something that makes the old powers very uncomfortable, and that leads us to something they're definitely not reporting. What security actually looks like now when it's built by Burkinabe hands. Now that the foreign troops are gone, the question isn't whether Burkina Faso is collapsing. It's who's paying attention to what's rising in its place. Because on the ground, a quiet transformation is unfolding, one that most international headlines refuse to acknowledge. With foreign forces out of the equation, Burkina Faso has begun building something Western powers never invested in: internal security systems designed to protect the people, not the investors. The rise of the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland, or VDP, is one of the most overlooked shifts in African security strategy. These aren't hired guns or foreign-trained mercenaries. They're ordinary citizens, farmers, students, traders, who've stepped forward to defend their communities. They operate with local intelligence, intimate knowledge of terrain, and a personal stake in the safety of their homes. This is not a government outsourcing of defense. This is people reclaiming it. Under Traoré, training camps have expanded. Coordination between military and civilian forces has strengthened. Surveillance networks are being developed using locally adapted strategies, not high-tech toys from abroad, but practical boots-on-the-ground intelligence rooted in trust. The focus has shifted from protecting assets to protecting lives, and the results are real. even if the West won't say it out loud. There are regions where supply routes, once controlled by armed groups, are
Okay,
now
folks,
open.
you're gonna watch the whole thing right here. Look, you're gonna watch the whole thing right there because it's kind of long. It's like 21 minutes and 21 seconds long. So you can go to YouTube and watch the whole thing right there. So, folks, on today, stay informed and don't believe what they're telling you. That's the same they did to Cuba and to Haiti. Once you rebel against the system, they always want to put an embargo on you. Like Cuba and Haiti do the same thing. When Haiti fight and fuck up Napoleon twice, I'm still like, you can't enslave us. You're full of shit. You can't come in and enslave us. No, freak that shit. We ain't playing that shit. They put an embargo on Haiti and now on Cuba. Now, Burkina Faso doing the same thing. Once they fight against a big system, they want to put an embargo on you or put a ban on you, saying that you're a rebel and you're this. Anyway, folks, you know the deal, right? You know the deal. Anyway, they're falling apart slowly but surely. They get scrambling. All the big powers they get scrambling slowly but surely because their time is up. I keep saying all over, their time is up for running the planet. They fuck up the planet totally. Now their time is up, so they're trying to hang on like a grown man on a straw, trying to hang on a little shit they got, but not gonna work. Their time is up. Their time is up completely. Peace out. Lots of love more there.